Now we'll move to an example of multiplication in base 8. Again, multiplication follows the same format in base 8 that it did in base 10. However, we know that the digits that we will be writing will be different. So let's start off with our standard algorithm. Again, you may want to turn to page 212 for your multiplication table in base 8. The first thing that we'll do is we'll multiply 2 times 6. Now normally in base 10, we know that 2 times 6 is 12. We would record a 2 in the ones place and carry the 110. However, since we're working in base 8, we can't do this. We have to think 2 times 6 in base 8. Well, 2 times 6 in base 8 gives us 12. That's one complete group of 8 with 4 units remaining. So 2 times 6 in base 8 is equal to 1/4 in base 8. You may want to confirm this by taking a look at your multiplication table on page 212. 2 in the left column multiplied by 6 in the top row gives us 1/4 for a product. Now we'll record the 4 in the units place, and we will have to carry the 1 group of 8. We now move to our second multiplication of 4 times 6. 4 times 6 in base 8, either thinking about it or from the chart. 4 times 6, we can think 24, however we have to convert that to base 8. 24 would be 3 complete groups of 8 with nothing left over, so we know that 4 times 6 in base 8 is equal to 30 base 8. I'll leave it to you to confirm that 4 times 6 is actually 30 in the chart. But before we can record this, we need to remember that we have this one group that we had carried from our previous multiplication. So when we add that 1 to 30 in base 8, we get 31 in base 8. So we will record 31 for our first set of partial products. Now just like in base 10, when we move to the second line to begin multiplying by the 3, we need to indent. So there will be nothing that we will write in this particular spot. Some of you may write zeros, you may have been taught to do that, and that's fine as well. Now we'll need to multiply 2 times 3. We know that 2 times 3 in base 8 gives us 6 in base 10, but it's also 6 in base 8 because we're still lower than 8. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6 in base 8. And we can record a 6 after we indent. And finally, the last multiplication that we need to do is 4 times 3. 4 times 3 in base 8. We can think 12, but we know that we cannot write 12. 12 is equal to one group of 8 plus 4 left over. And you can double check that in the chart. So 4 times 3 gives us 1/4 in base 8. We'll record the 1/4 for that multiplication. Our last step is to add our two partial products together. 4 plus essentially nothing gives us 4. 1 plus 6 is 7, which does not give us 8 or above, so no carrying is necessary. 3 plus 4 is 7. No carrying is necessary. And then our final 1. So we get a final product of 1774 in base 8. One thing to keep in mind, it didn't occur in this example, but sometimes when you add these two partial products together, you may end up having to carry because your sums for the columns may end up being 8 or greater, which would require you to carry. But you can handle that because we looked at those examples in the addition in base 8.